So I was driving up to Session, a Zen meditation retreat, with my husband and a couple of friends, and we stopped at a petrol station, a gas station in Colorado to get gas and use the bathrooms. And I walked in, the others were still outside, and I walked on ahead into the gas station, and it was complete bedlam in there. It was noisy, there was a palpable sense of kind of aggressiveness or frustration in the air. There was a baby crying. It was very packed. Everybody was in lines. It was just suddenly kind of quite chaotic. And there was an older man who was standing in line with a 6-pack of beer under his arm, and just one look at his face and his clothing kind of told me that he should probably not be having any more beer today. And I looked at him, and as I looked, he looked at me, and our eyes caught. And just held each other, and there was a great openness in his eyes, and I felt a great openness in mine. And as I kept moving, suddenly there was my consciousness was not inside me, Tania, anymore. There was no my consciousness. There was just consciousness, awareness, and it was, my experience of it was inside the man, inside the child, inside the rather frustrated cashier. It was like the consciousness was in everyone in the store, including all the pain and the suffering inside everybody, but also the great softness of everyone in their struggle. And so it was almost like I was looking out of the eyes of all the people in the store all at the same time. And I was not aware of my own body at this moment, but the last moment I was aware of my body, I was moving across, and then the next minute I was putting my hand up to open the women's room door, and at that moment I came kind of back into Tania, into being separate Tania again. And I continued. I went into the bathroom, I came out, I got in the car. I didn't mention to my husband or our friends that we were traveling with, because even though this something extraordinary had happened, it also, as I've experienced with other moments like that, felt very ordinary too. This was not special. This was just ordinary at the same time. And I don't think I even mentioned it to Roshi in the session, in the meditation retreat that we went to. It was a couple of weeks, I think, before I mentioned it to my husband. But I experienced this and experiences like this as part of what drives me to practice, as what drives me to meditation and prayer and various spiritual and mindfulness practices and shadow work in psychology and so on. Because I feel like that is always there, but it's only sometimes that I'm able to, well, I'm not doing anything. Let's face it, I'm not doing anything. But sometimes by grace, this moment comes, and afterwards, this is the thing that drives me forward and reminds me, it's a reminder, it reminds me of our oneness.